So, I don't think I'm super amazing or anything by any means. Um, but clear cut case of jealousy. Some Jay over here is getting kind of jealous or whatever. Talking about how, trying to quote me, I'm not sure why, but suddenly I was giving good thoughts on this video about holotropic or holotropic, however you choose to say it, breathing. When all of a sudden I get my comment is taken down. I put quite a bit of thought into it. It was a paragraph or two, just about some of the possible dangers involved, I think, or something like that. Or I can hardly even remember. And that's the thing, is this was so far back. This is so far back. Why choose to answer to me now and then answer to me, and then when I go back, I'm not allowed to reply. Like, my own reply that I took some time to do is actually missing. Um, and I think, I'm not saying even they took it down. Maybe they straight up took it down on the yoga journal page. Um, but it might be because I switched to Exoverse Interdimensional when before I was Exoverse Media. I don't know all the ins and outs of that. But what I do know for sure is I'm just like, I'm sitting there giving very poignant thoughts that are like deep thoughts for everybody to interact with. And I just get Jay here um, saying, "We all die. Think about that. Laugh out loud." Surly, I think he meant Shirley. Surely, it's natural to think about death. We're not needed to be told to think about it from someone in the comments section. Followed by, I can't reply. I can't see my own comment. That's exactly what I'm talking about with so much of the material on this channel is cancel culture and just letting others not have their opinion and completely just squashing their right to say anything at all when they're just contributing to when you find out what that other person is about. And I've been more vocal here about a lot of my values, and so it's really weird that that comes about right as I'm just getting a little more confident with talking about my values and my stance in certain things in life, and some of the things that are going on that I feel are injustices maybe. And right as I'm doing that, I just felt weird. I felt these weird, is maybe you might say slightly like a sort of empath or whatever, just feeling like intuitively some weird hater vibes. And then like I got this comment from this Jay with the weird three head. He has like weird three heads. I can't even tell. Is that like probably his head in the middle and like two girls on either side of him or something? I don't know, probably. He's probably a DJ. But just basically, why would you sit there and say we're not needed to be told to think about death? We're on a yoga. It was a yoga journal thing all about holotropic breathing and how that gets you to sort of have like a natural experience of, you might say, like almost like a psychedelic experience or almost like a near death experience in a way, or even like sort of anywhere between a light and heavy trance of feeling like you're leaving your body as a near death or out of body experience. And he's like, we're not needed to think about death on this page, and this post is clearly to get people to think about it from someone in the comment section. So that sort of helped me pick up on it too. Someone in the comment section. So trying to make me look like I'm just someone in the comment section, and in a way I am. But that's weird. See, the whole page is like about yoga is supposed to help you be more like a Buddha or something like that, which is non-reactionary. And look how reactionary this is. This is like all up in arms. Just everything the Buddha is like not according to everything they espouse and pretend to believe in. And I'm not saying Yoga Journal dropped this comment. Maybe it was Yoga Journal or someone at Yoga Journal, or just Jay is a DJ, like I said, and obviously went through my stuff, and this was more like a jealousy thing. And so I couldn't reply, which I wouldn't sit there and tear him apart. I would just reply in a way that I could pull apart his argument, kind of like I am right now. Like, why would my reply get taken down and saying we're not needed, your reply's not needed, we're not needed to be told about it from someone else in the comment section, like where opinions are supposed to be given and deep thoughts or whatever are supposed to be given in different angles and point of views are supposed to be allowed to be expressed. No one was being disrespected. I wasn't calling anyone a shithead or anything remotely close to that, even mildly. So it's just, it's messed up and it's weird. Why would you be sitting there? I can't go back and I can't just give my further stance on it and rebuttal to this and say, well, here's why I was talking about. I can't even see my original comment now, which was very respectful to other people just to see sort of the flip side of the coin. And the flip side of the coin made that much of a reaction and that much of a jump to where my comment got deleted, which I would assume right after this happened, because it says 9 hours ago right here. But when I was seeing it, it was more like it was done about 5 or 6 hours ago was the comment, and I couldn't go back and do anything. My thing is gone. I looked for my comment even from latest comments in the comment filters, and I still wasn't there. So obviously, like right after he did this, I don't know, he must be involved at Yoga Journal or something like that. Or Yoga Journal was just like, well, Jay's one of our favorites and he's getting all hot and bothered under the collar over it. So I couldn't find my thing. I couldn't find my comment, which, like I said, is paragraphs. I get a couple sentences from this guy. That's woke for you, though. That's cancel for you, though. And I'm gone. And he's just like, we don't need you. We don't need you here. You are going against the grain and showing people the flip side of the coin. We don't need you here. And why would that be the case toward me when my whole channel is clearly about this very sort of thing? It's not like I came over there from the opposite party camp and representing completely opposite. Nothing to do with meditation, nothing to do with other dimensions. My name is Exoverse Interdimensional and all this shit. So, and again, not provoking anybody, other than maybe just provoking the overall thought pool of getting people to think outside the box. And people are so much now wrapped inside the box that even at Yoga Journal, where you're supposed to think outside the box and transcend that to where you're non-reactionary, but able to take it all in and even interact with it and change yourself, but be non-reactionary. And this is what goes on. So it's just, you see how just everything these days now from woke and all this shit is just so superficial and, oh my God, going nowhere and not able to progress while they call themselves the progressive party. It's just, it's a ridiculous self-parody of hopelessness. I can't deal with it. I'd rather go hang out with this guy over here on right underneath the comment with the 8 freaking eyes looking like a spider skull. I think I could gain more in how to get along in the universe and get outside the box and everything going wrong on Earth by listening to what that guy has to say. Shit. I can see why some people end up trying to conjure shit like that. I think that's probably what Jay's been talking to already, maybe, which is why he's over here doing this shit. Surely you don't think conjuring the 8-eyed monster is going to make you have reactions like this, do you? Maybe that's the case. Maybe that's why this is going on. I don't know, but Jay, get some help, buddy. Let people have their opinion. Stop saying, surely this is not what we need, is open discourse and tolerant expression from everybody when we're all trying to, now enlightenment is just thinking on the same page of inside a box, inside a box, inside a box, where the mind is just going through a program that was a whole problem in the first place. Which is why so many go out and seek out stuff that's just spewing the same old crap that's so formulaic and misinterpretations of stuff from various cultures, and it's something that feels comfy and cozy for you while you power monger over it. And I feel like that's what Jay is doing, because he's killing freedom of speech, First Amendment, and the right to do that stuff while he's laughing out loud. A nice little laugh out loud while he's killing people's right to express themselves. And he's being very reactionary and being very ironic, saying, we don't need a bunch of other opinions. We don't need someone like you. Just a somebody. Isn't the whole thing about transcending the ego to where you are just another someone in the comment section? So that doesn't even really offend me much. That doesn't offend me much, even though I am a musician, multiple genre musician with 40 albums in just one of my project now, which was a big thing. it's graphic design. This is all my original graphic design. I have my own shop where I can put my clothes. Yeah, it's print on demand, but hey, I'm not ashamed of that. That's really cool. That's going out of your way to find people another practical reason to have your art other than just a picture on the wall that you charged a shit ton of money for, or other than just doing digital NFTs, this, that, and the other, and charging people a shit ton of crypto just for a JPEG that everybody can see while you're fucking up the environment and et cetera, et cetera. And sorry, I know I'm gonna get a bunch of crypto hate now. I'm not trying to do that. I still want to make some NFTs, just not very many. I want to be responsible to where I'm not just causing massive outpouring of crypto miner gas everywhere in the environment. So you would think someone like him, if he is who he says, would really respect someone like me. But it just clearly he went through some of my stuff and just the hate started outpouring while he's at a yoga site, and he's being very reactionary and very hypocritical. So to cut my comment off, and now I can't even go back there and find it, while the whole thing is about talking about this very sort of subject, yeah, don't think about death. It's clearly he just doesn't want to hear about death from me. Now, if it was someone who had his exact political alignment, no doubt it would be, yeah, very poignant, very thoughtful. Thank you, Jan. Thank you for sharing with the class during this hour of ego transcendence time. Sips chamomile, cozies up. Anyway, so yeah, that's just my thoughts on that. Really ridiculous. Live free or die hard. So is that if I can say that? I know that's the name of a movie, but I just thought it was funny. Like New Hampshire is live free or die. So I just thought that was funny. Yeah. So just some thoughts for this May 23rd and how stupid and ridiculous it's all getting, and how someone like him is more upheld and extolled and glorified, even as they control and manipulate and silence the right to freedom around them through being very reactionary, which is the antithesis of yoga and yoga journal. And why would my comment get taken down? Again, no hurting anybody, no trying to smash anyone's lifestyle at all, no bashing, nothing like that. Just a bit deeper in the thought pool, and being a bit deeper in the thought pool caused that. I can't go back and comment to this. And he said it, and boom, my stuff was gone. And why? Yeah, I know it's natural to think about death. We're not needed to be told to think about it. That would have been one sentence in about 3 paragraphs of something. If you've seen my stuff, not many people have yet, but if you've seen my stuff, I don't just say things for the sake of saying things. I will go deep. I will go all meta, and I will connect the dots and connect the substratum dots and connect the quantum foam under that. But at the same time, I will do that in such a way intentionally. I don't want to force people to think a certain way and try to get them to think on the same page my way, or I'm going to get rid of their comments and sweep them. I definitely don't go around and sweep people, and I don't pretend to be Buddhist or Buddha. I'm neither of those things. I am, like I said, I'm a Christ consciousness person. I'm a Christ follower, but I've seen a lot of the hypocrisies and that in almost any major religion, to where they've just become widely accepted cults and widely accepted like cult status, to where it's like you say you're part of it even if you're not really about it, and you get all kinds of perks, or you're considered, hey, you're now part of the tribe. And someone who comes along and is thought-provoking the way Christ throughout the scriptures was thought-provoking ends up just getting slammed, or even ends up crucified, silenced. So, and I'm not saying I'm Jesus over here or what have you, but yeah, that's just, so that's my thoughts on that for now. So yeah, really ridiculous. Just a clear-cut case of jealousy for no reason. Not in any way. There was no sort of provocation. Just trying to get people to go a bit deeper on something and think a bit more on something. Because even when I talk about DMT here, it's about why you would not need to smoke DMT, and the fact that what we call the DMT entities are really just spirits that are always going on when you're not smoking the DMT. So I would say get a discipline to where you are able to interact with what's really going on, not just the magical moment of what's being fed to you during a known window of having smoked the DMT. So you will get a certain set of circumstances to get you to believe a certain thing. Make it so be constantly in meditation and spiritual discipline outside of the box to where you can confront these things with, even though it seems like, oh, for 10 minutes during that DMT trip, I was so outside the box. The reality is, for the 10 minutes of that DMT trip, you were experiencing something that, yeah, it might be very mighty and beautiful and sometimes seductive in a way that's like, we need to be aware of this for this moment. Because when we are done with the DMT trip and we go back to our reality, we feel like we're not quite as much in the DMT realm as many people call it. And I don't even call it that. I just call it straight up the spirit realm. Sometimes I say hyperspatial because that's what lots of people say. Obviously, I say the interdimensional realms. Sometimes I've said Bardos. I've been saying Bardos for years and years and years before I finally started saying interdimensional. But lots of times if I say Bardos, people will think I only come at it from the Buddhist perspective. And I'm not a Buddhist. I don't pretend to be a Buddhist. I don't pretend to be Buddha. I've read a lot of Buddhist material actually. When I would say you might say I was having fights with a lot of the Western, infighting with a lot of the Western stuff in almost every Western branch. So that is when I started getting into the Eastern stuff. But so I'm not Buddha. I'm not pretending to be a Buddha to anybody. I'm not pretending to even be a Buddhist to anybody. I probably know more about that stuff though than a lot of people who do say they are and don't like to be exposed. And when they are exposed, they do stuff like that. Sweep the comment and say, we don't need to hear from you. We've heard from everybody already. We've got enough opinions now. We're just going to stop with yours because it's very provocative. And all this is about not provoking anybody. Because now we want to mollycoddle everybody. Let everybody know they're special while we're trying to be non-reactionary too. We're trying to allow for complete diversion, or for complete diversity, but also be non-reactionary. And that's just, you're not going to be able to be that. If you want to have complete open-ended diversity, you're going to experience reactionary times. So I very much, I channel my anger wisely, and I have angry moments. You've seen them right here at Exoverse. When I was like, how retarded is this Russian guy for saying he's going to, hit the UK with the Neptune missile, and it's just going to stop before all the other European nations. And there's not going to be a scratch anywhere but their one single target. That's Darwin Awards level expert, like I was saying. And I got angry about it. Wrath is very cleansing. I will say, I'm gonna put that on a t-shirt. Wrath is cleansing. Wrath can be cleansing. And in that regard, wrath properly channeled, if one is in control of themselves, is a healer. It's not about sweeping wrath while everyone agrees in what you believe in, the very specific way that you want to say it, or they're considered the dark negative entity of the room, and they're the shadow that everyone has to integrate in ego form, because that's bullshit. That's utter bullshit, and I'm just going to call it out right now. In fact, that's not the other person's shadow problem. That is your trickster problem of thinking you own the trickster. So I'll just say that right now. Speaking of Jungian archetypes, there's a bit more. So I'm going to cut it short at that because I've been going on longer than I meant to. But yeah, that's my thoughts for that. Haters in the room, be careful if you've got traditional conservative values, but to where you think outside the box, even other traditional conservatives, very often it's not other traditional conservatives that go after you. They'll just be a bit wary around you, but who goes after you is people like this who are supposedly so tolerant and all-encompassing and non-reactionary and transcendent. And they just tell on themselves. And here's the example of this Chad, this complete Chad with what do you call it? I don't know, with the orange saffron robes on or something, pretending to be like he did acid and now he's enlightened. This complete Chad is just like basically hating on me and being hypocritical. And is like trying to make everyone else laugh at my expense. Oh, yeah, laugh out loud. We're all in on it too, surely. Sips chamomile. So, yeah, it's utter bullshit. And that's why also I got out of all the law of attraction stuff and out of a lot of the Western takeover of Eastern stuff that's just way warped and hypocritical and made it into the worst cult of all, even, which is part of what's brought me way back to being more and more of a Christian conservative and a fundy conservative. And I'm not even that really. I'm not fundy conservative, but yeah, I'm Christ consciousness all the way, and I consider myself like from the stars, sort of like a intentionally like heavenly encoded before I came here to do something very specific. And a lot of them even hate that. Like people like this, they will team up, and I've experienced this very thing, this form of abuse. They will team up together and be like, group mind, everybody, group mind, power in numbers. He's not here he's not Starseed. He didn't come here with any sort of special cosmic encoding. He is the ego. He is the shadow in straight up ego form and a demon. And it's funny, while they all sit there and say that they've transcended the duality, this Jay here is a perfect case of that. He'll act like he's transcended the duality, and he will straight up try to make another fellow human soul who is suffering like all life is suffering look like the shadow demon in human form, and manipulate others to try to agree with that. That's the ultimate form of narcissism too, because what they do, that's what gaslighting is. In particular, to a T, is when they get others to believe that they need to join in on a common threat. And if they don't do that, and if they don't agree with that, this threat, the alternative to listening to them will be way worse. And that's that mind control. So yeah, I see through you, Jay. I see through you, and now you're on my YouTube channel. So and the comment disappeared, and I'm not saying everybody and their brother is gonna see this or anything, but yeah, just I felt like talking about it, and I didn't think it was cool. I couldn't even say anything about it, and that's not fair. That's the exact opposite of everything that all this is supposed to stand for. So anyway, take care of yourselves, and like I said, live free or die. If I can borrow the New Hampshire plate for a second there. So